up?
Are you ready?
Born ready.
Excellent. Izzy.
Hello.
Hi.
Yo.
David.
What's up, dude?
Nothing much. We are lacking a filter right now because I am got 4 hours of sleep. 4 hours of sleep. But it's come back after I ate a little. But
Okay, that's
we'll
good.
see how. No, not good. I need my filter gone. That's when I'm the funniest. Izzy, how's work going?
It's going. It's
Yeah?
always busy, but
Yeah.
that's probably a good thing.
You having fun still?
Yeah, got 4 hours of overtime, and
Yep.
you know what? Money.
Money. That's right. We love our overtime around here. Well,
Do you?
I do anyway.
We all just don't feel like doing it, to be honest.
Yeah. Some people don't
It's also
think.
valid.
Some
I have
people,
my limits.
Yeah, some people around here don't think it's worth it, and you know what? That's
I don't think
completely
it's worth it
fair.
for Asada or because they're really far away.
They are very far away. It's true. They live like an hour away. They have to travel. Like the
Oh,
overtime
hell no.
Yeah, the
Asada's an hour away and Bell's 40 minutes, so it's not even worth.
Yeah, the overtime they get is literally pays for their gas to get there.
Mm.
Pretty
You know,
bad.
the new job charm starting to wear off a little.
It's fine.
It's fine. Good.
It's just learning a new thing every day, and I'm just like, holy God.
You're still learning new stuff? You've been there
Like,
how long have you been there at this point? Like quite a few months, right?
it's just, they get a lot of random projects from several suppliers, and they all require different tests. So it's just kind of learning as you go.
Oh, gross. Okay.
So,
I mean,
a lot of our instruments are broken. So
Oh, that's not fun. We know what that's
So,
like.
I can't get trained on them.
They're all so expensive, so they can't get any new ones. It's just
Well,
it just sits
our
as a
IC
gap in knowledge.
our ICP, we have someone who knows how to use one, but it's a Perkin Elmer, not a Fisher. She
Oh,
only knows how
okay.
to, or she only knows how to use or maybe it's Agilent. I don't know. She only
One
knows
of
how to use
those.
one of those. So,
Okay, well, I mean,
screw Perkin Elmer.
yes, but I'm glad that you're still having fun with it.
Yeah.
And you read both the light novel and the digital manga?
Yep.
Good for you. What'd you think of the light novel?
I think it was my favorite compared to the other one.
I'd have to agree. There's
But I
also
really liked the short manga. Minus the art. The art was kind of ugh.
no,
But
I actually think okay, yeah, the art is rough and kind of scratchy, but I think
Pretty basic.
I think it services the story pretty well. Because Nick and I were talking about that earlier.
I like it, but I like more rough sketches of things, and I really like the watercolor. And I thought about this. It kind of aids the dreamlike aspect. Has anyone here watched JJK season 2?
Yes,
Yes.
bro.
It reminds me of the beginning. You know how they had a different art style for the very beginning, and it was more sketchy. That's what it kind of reminds me of. We are looking back into memories rather than the past.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the kind of vibe it gives me since we're looking at Arima's beginning,
I
Yeah.
could see that.
Yeah, it's true. You know.
But I'm partial to sketches and watercolor, so.
Yeah. I thought, since it's kind of rough and scratchy, I think, it's a little chaotic. I think it encapsulates the chaotic nature of Tokyo at that time. We'll dive into that more when we get there. Let's get started. The best light novel, also the shortest. So we start off with the one that David did read. Chapter 1, called A Different Kind. This one is about Toka and Ayato. Toka and Ayato kill a ghoul that had picked a fight with them. Toka thinks back to the events when they were children in which their father was killed and they were hunted by the people they thought cared about them. Later on, she heads to Anteku alone and gets scolded by Mr. Yoshimura, who tells her that Yomo disposed of the dead body they left that the CCG has ways of identifying her and Ayato through their Kagune markings, and that he doesn't want to see either of them heading down the wrong path. Not understanding what he means, though, and being a hot-headed team, she storms out of the cafe. So how does this earlier version of Toka contrast a bit to how we see her in the manga?
Kind of the same. She's just less reserved. Because she
Yeah.
was still kind of jaded and like a little. I don't know if rebellious is the right word, but
Yeah,
like
she was like
yeah.
still pretty hot-headed in the manga, at least the very beginning of the manga. But I think maybe she knows how to how to control who she lashes out at better, because earlier versions of her like this seems like she's lashing out at everyone, like she's just completely jaded at the world. While walking down the street, she encounters a little boy of about 5 years old crying and calling out for his mother. She asks him where his mother is, and he cries even louder, but appears to calm down as they walk down the sidewalk. They sit down on the swings at a nearby park, and he tells Toka that his dad is at work and that he'll be mad if he doesn't go back to kindergarten, leading her to believe that he ran away. While trying to figure out what to do, the boy's father, who calls the boy Shota, arrives, relieved to find that he's safe. He thanks her for keeping an eye on Shota, but when Toka mentions that he was calling for his mother, Shota calls her a liar and tells his dad not to listen to her. They leave, and Toka finds herself perplexed by the entire exchange, but jumps to the conclusion, based on Shota's behavior, that he must be spoiled. So we can already kind of tell where this is headed, right? Like, based on Shota's reaction. Shota is missing his mother because she died or something. That's kind of the impression that you get. It doesn't take much to figure that out.
This is Tokyo Ghoul's. She probably got killed by a ghoul.
Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul. No one, no one has a happy life.
Right.
No one dies normally either.
That's what I was about to say. Where's Truck-kun? You know, like where are the normal?
She's gonna. Yeah, Toka's gonna get hit by Truck-kun, and she's gonna wake up in like Konosuba. A week later, Toka heads off to Anteku when she runs into Shota's father. He explains to her that his wife, Shota's mother, died about 6 months ago, and it's been causing him to act out in school, feeling envious that everyone else around him seems to get to have a mother, but puts on a brave face when he's around his father. So how might this change Toka's perspective of Shota? She thought he was a spoiled brat before, but she feels pretty bad about that now.
Yeah, little bro was just trying to protect his dad.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But also, he's still a little brat, though.
Damn.
Playing a little trick. But I guess not really, like, he doesn't know better, so.
Yeah, but also, like,
Yeah.
now that she knows that Shota's lost a parent, Shota's now someone that she can relate to, because Toka's also lost her parents. She thinks about this as she walks to Anteku, but upon entering, she's informed by Yomo that she was followed. Turns out that the friends of the ghoul that she and Ayato killed before want to avenge him. At sunset, Toka waits for them in her own feeding grounds. They show up and try to fight her 4-on-1, but they're no match for her incredible speed. She disposes of 3 of them, but the last one reveals that she kidnapped Shota's father, finding it very strange that she suddenly speaks to this guy after never talking to anyone other than her brother and the people at Anteku. He also says that he tried to nab Shota too, but he ran off before they could get their hands on him. Toka feels incredibly guilty for getting them caught up in her business. Suddenly, Ayato shows up and recklessly disposes of the remaining ghoul, but injures Shota's father in the process. He gets bored and walks back to their apartment. Toka struggles with what to do regarding Shota's father. She heavily considers killing him, but since he now knows that he's a ghoul, or that she's a ghoul, but can't stand the idea of putting Shota completely through what she had to go through. At the same time, though, she can't help him herself, or else that could have what the book describes as dire repercussions. She decides to throw a stone and have it sound echo right by the main road for passerby to hear. A while later, Tolka sulks. The CCG hasn't come for her, so she can only assume that Shota's father had died. However, she coincidentally overhears some mothers talking about him, saying that he was saved by Shota, who was alerted to his location through the sound of a rock being thrown on the ground. Is very lucky that he was just in the area when that happened. Although, I guess, if he's running away, he's probably not. He didn't want to run too far away. Later on, Mr. Yoshimura asks Toka and Ayato if they want to go to school. Ayato refuses, but Toka agrees, now seeing more value in living amongst humans rather than avoiding them. Maybe one day she'll understand her father's perspective too.
Dang, so this is the moment where it happened.
Yeah.
That was the interaction.
Yeah. I think that's really cool. Like, these things that just have an effect on the characters, like, it's not just, like, the softening of their heart as they get older, but it's also, like the more they interact with humans, the more they want to interact with them. Do we think Toka's reached the point of learning her father's perspective by the end of the original manga?
I'm like a maybe. Like, she has her best friend. Like, she's very protective of her best friend. That's not everyone.
I can't believe I'm blanking on her best friend's name.
I'm not surprised. For me,
we literally had a story about her in the first book.
I didn't read the first one, so I'm out.
Yeah, Yoriko. Thank you, David.
Ah.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Damn, nice, David. Good job.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
You got that pull.
Well, it's because I just read it. I literally just read it, bro.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned it. I think they mentioned it in the first chapter of the light novel.
Yeah.
At least her name like once or
yeah,
twice.
she says Yoriko's name literally at the very end. Like, it's the very last line of the chapter. Yeah. But no, it's hard to say whether or not she reached the point of learning her father's perspective, because we don't really see her much after, like, halfway through the story. Like, it's very much just Kaneki. We'll see her more in Re, and then we'll hopefully remember to revisit this question. Do we learn anything new about Toka and Ayato's relationship from the story?
You definitely see the beginnings of, like, splitting apart.
Yeah, because Toka's leaning more into humans, and Ayato's like, whatever.
Yep.
And it's gonna
It's interesting that that's as a result of their experiences, not like a fundamental difference in their character. You know, like it seems like that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah, and like, I mean, it could kind of be a fundamental difference in their character, because it's like how they process all the events that they've experienced throughout.
That's true. Like, I don't know if Ayato would have ever gone up to that boy crying.
Exactly.
Like, definitely not.
No.
He's very much. He is such a shut-in. I swear. Thoughts on this story? I thought it was okay. It's like
fun.
That's how I felt about it too.
It's fine. Definitely not the best one in this book, but definitely not the worst. That one, in my opinion, is reserved for the Rize story.
Oh my gosh.
I just wasn't into that one. But before we get to that, we must go back to Kaneki. We will go back to our boy Kaneki in chapter 2, titled Solitary Reading.
I think I like this one better than the first one.
We learn how, like, firsthand, we learn just how much of a bitch Kaneki's aunt is.
Dude.
Yeah. Alright. A high school-aged Ken Kaneki wakes up for school. He silently gets ready and heads out the door, listening to his aunt berate her son to get up already. Before class, Hide ecstatically shows Kaneki a magazine article that says his favorite band is releasing a new album the following weekend, and asks Kaneki to come with him to get it. Kaneki accepts, not wanting to be at his aunt's house during the weekends, and Hide gives him several more magazines so he can quote-unquote study up about the band. They talk more about the band after school, but when Kaneki returns home, he remembers thinking, when he was a child that his aunt must really be struggling financially, but looking at his aunt's fridge, thinking of the food inside it, of the big TV she's watching, of the furniture and plants she has, all of that, and of the two-story house that she lives in, he can't help but get the feeling that it was all bought with his mother's money, and gets the feeling that she was always better off than Kaneki and his mother ever were. He quickly shakes off the feeling, though, and is met with his aunt right in front of him. He informs her about the plans he has with Hide the following weekend, and her response is, quote, "When you're telling me things I couldn't care less about, you look just like my sister."
And what a dick, bro.
Yeah, like, y'all can already tell what the goal of this story is. Want to show firsthand the struggle that Kaneki has to go through with his aunt, and just how big of an absolute cunt she is. But we haven't gotten to the worst part yet.
No.
But I think we might have touched upon this earlier in the manga, but can anyone tell me the difference between what it means to be nice and what it means to be kind?
I think nice is an act and kind is just a personality, like who you are. Is what I've heard from like people's definition.
Sure.
Because like nice, you can like fake being nice, but I don't think you can fake being kind. You get what I'm saying?
That is kind of true. That's kind of true. I always figured that nice is kind of doing what is perceived to be a good deed at face value for someone, like without taking into account whether it's like the best thing for that person. Where kindness is actually doing what's best for that person, even if the deed itself isn't positive on its face. Like,
Yeah.
Kaneki's mother giving money to his aunt whenever she supposedly needed it is example of being nice. But if she was kind to her aunt, it might be more like helping her make good financial decisions so that she didn't have to resort to begging like she did. Of course, if we assume that Kaneki's aunt was always better off than them, then it probably would have fallen on deaf ears, all of it. The weekend comes, and Hide gets his CD with a limited edition poster. Impatient to open it, Hide pulls Kaneki into a cafe to do so. Kaneki hears the news talking about ghouls and ironically expresses immense disdain for them in his head. They talk about it, which then progresses into a conversation of how Hide doesn't read literature, but he did say that he wanted to cry one time when he threw away his favorite manga. What was your guys' first ever CD growing up?
Hilary Duff.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
I think American Idiot by Green Day.
Oh, good man.
Nice.
Good man.
To be honest, I don't really. A lot of the CDs I listen to is like Chinese stuff that got burned on illegally.
Oh.
Also nice.
Bro was pirating from the very beginning. And then mine was Speak Now, because I was a big Swiftie in middle school.
Oh, is a Taylor Swift fan like that?
That's right.
That's something I would not expect come out of your mouth.
Yeah,
Dude, when are you gonna find your Travis, bro?
That's what I mean, bro. You're Travis Kelce, bro.
Oh God, are you insisting that I find a girl who plays football?
Yeah,
Because that might be hard to come by.
You're not a rugby girl.
just someone that makes you kick your feet back and forth when you're sitting on your bed.
Oh, I mean, I have that already.
You did it.
I did it. But no, I still maintain, Izzy, that Speak Now is the best album.
I agree.
All right.
It is definitely one of the best ones. When she re-released it, that was the only album I bought. I was like, okay.
Oh, really?
I don't care about all the re-releases, but I'll get this one.
Do you have a favorite on that album?
Oh, I'd have to look at it.
Okay.
Hold on.
Are you
I'll have to get back to you.
Okay. Kaneki and Hide return to Kaneki's aunt's house so he can return Hide's magazines to him. As they get closer, Hide expresses worry, for Kaneki has especially been dreading being in the house lately from how much more cold his aunt has been to him than usual. Upon... Haunted? Oh, okay. I liked that one a little bit more when I was younger.
It's a pop.
I was always a fan of Sparks Fly.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, upon entering the house, Kaneki is surprised to find that his aunt actually greets him and tells him that she tidied his room for him. Kaneki, though skeptical at first, hopes that this is a turning point for their relationship and that it will be able to grow moving forward. That is, until he enters his room to find that his aunt threw away every single one of his books, as well as Hide's magazines.
I fucking knew it, dude. I didn't read this, but I just knew when she said she cleaned up his room. I was
Yup.
like,
Yeah,
this
he was cooked, bro.
guy, he's so cooked, man. That
Like,
temporary hope is just a killer.
I'll tell you what, I resonated with Kaneki so hard on the in this
Uh-oh.
moment. It's like, okay, I don't have the same like connection to his books that as Kaneki does, but like if someone threw out my entire library, oh, heads are gonna roll.
There might have to be a mass shooting or something.
Yeah.
For one person fucks you over, you're gonna do a mass shooting to get that.
Might have to be like
What the fuck does that?
I mean, you have to realize Kai has a huge collection, you know what I mean? So like, right, Kai?
You've only seen a portion of it, Nick.
That's what I mean.
It is
Mass
massive.
might have to be.
I still don't have enough bookshelves for it. Soon, though. Kaneki questions his aunt, and she acts like she didn't realize how important the books were to him. So we can probably tell what Kaneki's feeling in this moment. Hopelessness.
Dude, I hate her so much.
She's the
What does
worst.
that even mean, bro? You didn't know how important they were. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like you're just throwing my shit away. Like,
Yeah, like why would you? Yeah.
Why are you commenting on your evaluation process?
Exactly. But no, it's even harder for Kaneki. This is why I say that it's even worse for Kaneki than it would be for me, because his books were literally the one thing that Kaneki had to connect him to his father. And then he feels hopeless because of that. And then double hopeless because he knows now that there's nothing he can do to ever improve his relationship with his aunt. At this point, I just say good riddance. But he also has immense guilt for having lost Hide's magazines. Yeah, if I went through my books out, they'd have indicated to me that they've grown tired of living. Kaneki rushes out of his house, white as a ghost, and attempts to explain the situation to Hide. He offers to buy Hide more magazines, or more of the magazines that were lost, specifically, but Hide is much more focused on Kaneki's books. Kaneki is intent on retaliating against his aunt, but hears his mother's voice in his head and just accepts that he has to deal with anything his aunt does to him while under her roof, no matter how cruel. He attempts to smile and tells Hide that it's fine, but Hide sees through it and goes to berate his aunt, whose attitude suggests that she could really not care less. W friend right there. Thankfully, Hide has a solution. After he threw his favorite manga out that one time, he studied up on the area and figured out where all the recycling in the area goes to. They rush over to the collection center, and the staff confirms that they received Kaneki's books, knowing they're specifically his because they were all in one ginormous bag, but they also receive a ton of other books, so searching would take a while. After searching for a while, Kaneki eventually finds all of Hide's magazines, and Hide finds a bunch of Kaneki's books. Though it takes hours, and many of the books are now in much more poor condition than they originally were, they're both able to find every single one. Kaneki worries that she'll throw them out again, but Hide tries to brighten his spirits by telling him how great things will be in a few years' time when they're in college and will get to finally be on their own, and that Kaneki might meet a girl who loves to read as much as he does.
Foreshadowing.
Boy, yeah, foreshadowing. Boy, does he do that. The collection staffers give them a ride back to the house, and they call out to Kaneki's aunt, telling her that a child who treasures his books as much as Kaneki does will grow up to be a fine man and to take good care of him. Kaneki's aunt never touched his books after that, and Kaneki used the idea of escaping his aunt's house in a few years' time as his driving force for hope. We flash forward to Kaneki and Rize's date and are left with the words, "From one cage to another." Very deep. How does this story serve the relationship of Kaneki and his aunt? We can all probably tell already, right?
It's not hard to
she's
say.
terrible.
She's a dickhead.
She's horrible.
She's terrible.
I felt genuine rage reading this story. We rage maxed on this one.
Okay, would you go search for your books like they did at the recycling center?
No, dude. I'm not gonna lie. The way I was as a child, I would have immediately gone into revenge mode. Just immediately. 0 seconds wasted. What does she love the most? Rip it from her. I got immediately
or slightly pulling out the cords to her TV.
Dude, I was terrible. I was a terrible child. Yeah, I would have made her life unbearably inconvenient.
Bro, how the hell you do that without getting your ass beat?
Because even when my mom did slap me, I still was just so obnoxious. Like I was the worst.
This
bro.
guy, bro.
Oh yeah.
I was genuine. The problem is my mom very tired. Me, endless pettiness. Like endless. Like it was. I acknowledge openly how terrible that must have been.
That's funny.
I was a child that thought about doing that. That is just insane to think about that level of granularity of what could be inconvenient to somebody.
It's awesome.
God.
And then
Terrible.
How does this story also serve the relationship of Kaneki and Hide?
Kind of just reinforces what we thought, right? Like,
yeah,
bro is an ultimate bro.
Yeah, ultimate bro.
He's a ride or die.
Like, he's been doing this kind of like his whole thing with the CTG was just him trying to figure out what's going on with his friend. You know?
Yeah. Like, this is really a situation where they put their friend before themselves. Because if you get this more when you read the story, but Kaneki's books are all gone, and he's primarily focused on Hide's magazines. And similarly, after Kaneki tells Hide about what happened to the magazines, Hide is primarily focused with Kaneki's books. And, like, that's true. That's true friendship right there.
But what's interesting is, like, you know that difference between being nice and kind? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's represented between them, too, in that situation.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I feel like Hide is less of a victim and is able to see more holistically the shitty situation Kaneki's in, you know? And how, like... And, so kind of interesting. And where he's just reflexively, I feel like, it more comes off that he's just worried that he, like, betrayed the nicety of, like, preserving what was given to him.
Yeah. I like this story. I like this story a lot. Just because I like to get angry about Kaneki's aunt.
It relates to your books.
It's like I can relate to Kaneki so hard.
I think part of it also, Kaneki is also kind of a pushover, so maybe he just kind of wants to reduce some of the friction.
Well, yeah, it's because
losing his magazines.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like that's what he thinks is what he should do.
Yeah,
is be a doormat for everybody.
Yeah,
you know?
It's all because of his mom too.
Yeah,
His mom's echo so hard in his mind that it stops
for sure.
him. And it's not until
like that was literally the big moment where he broke against Jason. Like that was what he was dealing with the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like if I can just endure more, everything will be all right.
Yeah.
You know?
It'll be all right. I had to, bro. Come on.
Animal Kaneki has become. All right. So with that, we're going to move on to chapter 3, which is called Femme Fatale.
This one you said was the worst one?
Yeah, this is my least favorite one. The one about Rize, it's my least favorite one.
Same.
It's just like... Okay, I can sum up this story in like one sentence.
Okay.
Everyone accuses Rize of overeating. Banjo says it wasn't Rize. Rize says it was totally me.
Let me guess, Banjo still fucking spawns over her.
Oh, just down bad, horrendous.
It's just like Banjo is fucking down bad, bro. I knew it.
Like you.
Banjo's like, gravity doesn't exist at all. I swear to God, it doesn't.
It is.
Rize just drops a pen.
It is frankly very cringy, uncomfortable, like how Banjo acts in the story, because he's like all in love with Rize and stuff, and the interaction she has with him is just like she literally just sees him as an acquaintance, like truly. But okay, let's get into it. So the leader of ghouls in the 11th ward, Hagi, I believe it's pronounced Hagi, accuses Rize of going against the rules and eating 4 victims in a single month, far above the limit of 1. He specifically points to a body that was haphazardly left in the open at a local beachfront park. Quite a few people came to Rize's defense, including Banjo and a newcomer to the 11th ward, Yuri. Though Hagi's investigation has not been concluded, and thus far hasn't turned up as pointing to anyone specific, he strongly suspects that it's Rize because he knows her tendencies, as well as her street name literally being Binge Eater. Yuri suspects that another ghoul might be using Rize as a cover-up for their own activities. Banjo thinks about what Yuri says for the next few days and decides to do some detective work with his friends Ichimi, Jiro, and Santa. They start by asking Usu, the ghoul in the ward that covers all the cleanups, for his perspective. He says that the body he found at the beachside park wasn't as sloppy as the other 3 that were left, but claims that all 4 were eaten in a thoughtless way that's typical of how Rize eats. They proceed to have a conversation about the freedom they have in the ward. Banjo claiming that all the rules they have to follow makes them feel caged up, whereas Usu says that it's those very rules that allow them to be free and avert CCG attention, despite him getting hungry from the 1 body per month rule as well. So who's right here? Who do we think is right here? Because they both do make good points.
Dude, that's actually so fucking philosophical.
Right?
Like and paradoxical, that rules are the things that actually free us.
Yeah.
That is so interesting as a concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's awesome too. I'm personally more inclined to go with Usu on this, because the difference between their perspectives is that Usu is thinking more about the 11th ward ghouls as a whole and what works generally better as a collective in keeping everyone safe, whereas Banjo is appealing more to the differing desires of the individual. The individual
specifically one person.
Yeah, the individual specifically being Rize. But I do think Usu is more in the right here, because CCG attention is terrible for ghouls.
I definitely think he's thinking about everyone. Banjo is just straight up just being selfish. Straight up.
Banjo's trying to get on her good side so she can,
he can get some.
So he can get in her good side. I think
that's what I mean.
It's a community of ghouls, and you're only thinking of one person. Come on, man. How dumb is he?
He's horned up.
Horned up, it's true. Banjo and Usu continue to argue, but Banjo backs down after Usu threatens to report him to Hagi. Banjo and company...
Oh no.
Oh no! Banjo and company head over to the beachfront park, where he begins getting sleepy because he's been running around all night. Ichimi asks Banjo if he really has this much respect for Rize, to which he replies that he just wants to be helpful to her.
Yeah, okay. That's all he wants.
Bro is a bootlicker, bro.
Ichimi, Jiro, and Santa tell him that Rize can probably handle the situation herself because she's so much more powerful than Banjo, but Banjo drifts off to sleep. Banjo's friends are technically right here. At this point, we pretty much know how powerful Rize is. She can pretty much handle any situation herself because she's just that powerful, and she can follow her own rules. Like, she doesn't need to follow the rules of the 11th ward because she can handle herself whatever happens. Although I will say the more we learn about how powerful Rize is, the more kind of lame her. Okay, well, it wasn't. She didn't actually die, but her.
Fake death was.
Yeah, like how debilitating the steel beam accident was.
It was far too normal. Like, it was too mundane for someone to bring her down.
Exactly.
Literally, my indoor voice is like, "Oh, you were like, oh, she can handle anything," and I'm like, "Except a crane."
Yeah. Although I guess thinking about it now, because like steel beams are heavy already. If you drop them from as high as they were dropped, okay, maybe I can see it. Those things will crush anything.
But dude, that's just hard power scales. All of the ghouls.
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, you just have to drop something on them, dude.
A little bit.
So, like, yeah, it's just...
A little bit of metal goes a long way. The four of them awaken the next morning and decide to search the beachside park for clues. A girl approaches them and hands them a missing person flyer that has the name Mary Hirano on it, or Mari Hirano, claiming that it's her sister and that she came to the 11th ward to visit a friend before she disappeared a week ago. Ichimi thinks that this might be the girl who got eaten, since the timing between the disappearance and Usu cleaning the body up coincide. Jiro also says that the woman looks just like a model that he showed them in a magazine the night before. The four of them go back to their hideout to confirm that it's a match, but they also find Yuri in the magazine as well. Dun dun dun. They show the missing person flyer to Usu, and he confirms that it's the same woman that got eaten. They ask him where Yuri lives, but Usu drops the information that Yuri had just stopped by, asking where Rize lives, claiming that she was moving and wants to say goodbye. Banjo rushes off to Rize's house, thinking that she's in danger, and finds her on a nearby bridge. Suddenly, Yuri shows up and attacks Rize, but her Kagune strike is blocked by Banjo. Banjo tells them of his findings and accuses Yuri of pinning Mari's death on Rize. However, Rize admits that she was indeed the one who ate her, but left as much as she did because she tasted disgusting. Literally said she tasted like the sea.
My god.
Yeah. She tasted
Do not
fishy.
tell me fucking... Oh my god, this Banjo guy, bro.
Though Yuri originally claimed that Mari was her friend, she furiously attacks Rize and says that she was planning to take Mari somewhere and make an elegant meal out of her herself. Rize easily disposes of Yuri and claims once again that she's bored. Later on, after Rize left the 11th ward, Banjo thinks back to the last thing she said to him, calling him Mr. Leader, and carries on, determined to become the leader of the 11th ward, or at least make the 11th ward as safe as possible. So I guess this goes to show the simplest conclusion is usually the right one. We'll be right back with more ridiculousness. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then, like, if this was monetized, there would be an ad break, like, right there.
Like Monster energy drinks.
Yeah.
Occam's razor.
Yeah. Occam's razor, exactly. Do we learn anything new about the relationship that Banjo and Rize had as a result of this story?
I mean...
Not really.
Banjo is way creepier than I thought he was. I thought he was like a kind of chill guy that people respected, and now I think he's a creep that everybody respected.
I wouldn't go so far as to
Just
say
the
he's
smelling.
a creep. He's
He's just infatuated, I guess.
For real?
A level I is wild.
I think he's more stupid than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's never been the most intelligent, but he's like passionate. He's passionate at least about doing the right thing. But he is I do like him a lot more after he joins Kaneki's group.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we see him in Ri or not. I mean, we would have to, right?
I would hope so.
We got to see the full Kagune if it ever comes out.
Does he like Kaneki because he has a little bit of Rize? Wait.
That might be. Wait, low key, actually.
Oh
Like
god.
he knows that. He knows that.
Wait,
can
no,
sniff
that's
it.
the
Kaneki's looking
first.
for
No, no,
Rize.
legit. That's the first thing he said to him. Is that he smells like Rise. That's like the first thing he said.
It's true.
I swear to God.
It's
I
I
knew
true.
he
swear to
wanted
God.
to
That's
fuck
why
her.
I think he's creepy, bro. That's why.
And he's
Because the
like,
first thing he smelled was her on him.
yeah. And he was like super accusatory of Kaneki being Rise's boyfriend.
Oh god. So it all makes sense now.
I think it proceeds in a much more wholesome direction. Definitely as the story goes on and we learn like more about him in the manga at least. But yeah, this is probably my least favorite story in the whole book. Like, I really just don't think we need to have any more stories regarding Rise and the 11th Ward. What I think this story should have been, what I think would be a lot better, is that if this story was set after Rise had already left and Banjo is like working his way up like in the 11th ward before he goes and meets Kaneki for the first time. Like, I think that would be way more interesting.
No, this is better. I like this.
You like this one?
No, I'm
I think out of the three, this is gonna be my least favorite as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Just wait. After all 6, it'll be your least favorite.
Okay.
We will proceed on to a much better story. Chapter 4, which is called Insincerity, or, as I like to call it, Akira roasts everyone. CCG Academy student Akira Mato is once again recognized for having the highest score on her exam. Big shocker. After a brief encounter with Saito Takizawa in the hall, in which he tries to intimidate her and she utterly roasts his ass, she heads back to her dorm and begins studying using real CCG case files. The next morning, she arrives at the training ground where instructor Shinohara introduces her to 2 investigators, Yanagi, whom you guys will remember from Tokyo Ghoul Void. He was in the 8th ward with Amon during that whole case. And his current partner in the story, Tada. They're at the academy because an incident occurred in the ward, which I believe they're in the 5th ward right now, in which a woman was attacked by a ghoul that ended up fleeing at the sound of a child yelling at him and want to see if any academy students saw anything. They introduce themselves to Akira, and Tada makes a compliment about Akira's mother that also involves putting her father down, calling him a Quinque collecting maniac. They explain that any ghoul that runs at the sound of a yelling child will turn up sooner or later, but Akira questions that a ghoul who is seen near an academy of future CCG investigators must hold some merit with the institution. Tada, apparently feeling insecure, laughs at this for some reason, and then Akira just out of nowhere calls him fat. Just straight up out of nowhere. She quickly tries to deflect to connect some kind of logic to her insult, saying like if you're not in shape and you're running away or towards a ghoul, it's a matter of life or death. Like, it's along those lines, but it really doesn't make it better. And Tada gets angry, telling her that if she thinks she can do better, to take on the case herself. So that's what she's going to do. Yanagi tells her that they have a saliva sample of the ghoul in question, and that he was seen wearing a black and red mask that makes him look like a ladybug. So, as a student, what difficulties might Akira run into when carrying out a full investigation? Is it only a matter of physical skill issue?
probably authority and clearance to get certain things, maybe.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Like students are only I can imagine students are only allowed like a very limited amount of information until they're actually in the force. And then at this point specifically, she kind of has quite a bit of hubris associated with her. Days after Akira's encounter with Yanagi and Tada, Akira finishes her classes for the day and goes to the staff room where she banters with instructor Shinohara and learns that the saliva sample they got from the ghoul is not in the CCG database, meaning this school has been very careful to not attract CCG attention. She learns that the boy that scared off the ghoul is about 6 years old and that he didn't just scream, but yelled, "Mr. Inspector, come right away," indicating to Akira that this is a strangely quick-witted child to scare off a ghoul that's so good at covering its tracks. Akira follows her intuition to the location that the crime apparently took place and finds a gloomy kid kicking a rock around in an alley of neighboring houses. A little boy by the name of Shota, the kid whose father Toka saved in the first chapter of this book. This story takes place about a year or two after those events. And Shota explains that both of his parents were killed by ghouls, and that this particular ghoul that he scared away belonged to the group of ghouls that killed his father. He also says that the ghoul fled in the direction of the CCG Academy, and that he saw him there. He didn't have his mask on, but he knew. With a fire in his eyes, he asks Akira to kill the ghouls that killed his father. The more we see of Shota, the more tragic his life seems to become. It's the real tragedy of living in this world. It's like no one gets to be happy.
Yeah, like who's the happy person? I was just about to ask.
Like,
we haven't run.
Literally no one is happy. It just really, it sucks. It feels really hopeless that, after the luck that Toka went through to save Shota's father, that he just ends up getting killed later on anyway. Like, it's just it's sad. Later that night, the ghoul in question emerges with his luggage from an apartment building that housed many academy students. That was like his cover. He plans to go away for a while and then claims to come back once things cool down a bit because they know that he's looking for him. But he's intercepted by Akira. The ghoul puts his mask on and attacks Akira, but she's able to dodge his attacks. He ridicules her combat ability, saying that she doesn't even have a quinque with her, and Akira's all like, "That's my secret, Cap. I always have a quinque." And then boom, her father, Kuriomato, emerges from the shadows and is able to dispose of the ghoul very easily.
Why are you third partying?
Why are you third partying?
Come on, bro.
It turns out that she called him right after she spoke to Shota and arrived right after he got off work. Akira literally says, "My dad is my quinque," which is very wholesome. Tada arrives and is told that Akira discovered the ghoul's whereabouts, to which Tada frustratingly says, "Like father, like daughter," intending it to be an insult, but Akira takes it as the highest praise. So we don't really get to see scenes of Akira and her father much in the manga. Like, I don't know if y'all noticed that, but we don't get to see them together a whole lot. Like, stories with them together are usually relegated to extra content, like this story that's outside of the manga, or like some of those short gag strips in between the chapters at the end of volumes. We see some stuff with them there, which is debatable as to whether those are really canon or not. But if they're wholesome or funny, and involves those two, I like to think they are. But it's easy to tell, though, that despite how psychotic and dedicated to quinque collecting Mato is, he's still kind of a good father. Like, he's a really good father, I have to say.
Is there really much to go off of besides the fact that he kind of comes in to defeat the ghoul, though?
We get more at the end where he's like the next day he's like, "I took the day off, let's have lunch together," and stuff like that. Which And I think one of those gag strips involved them going shopping or something. And Mado was like extremely out of his element because she was like shopping for clothes and stuff. But yeah, you're right. They're overall in the grand scheme of things, there's really not much to go off of. The next day, Akira tells Shota that the ghoul has been killed. When she returns, she's surprised to find her father at the academy and tells her that Tada is now on a diet and also invites her to lunch. He like calls out Amon in this instance, and he's like, yeah, my new partner can't handle spicy stuff. It's like my partner's kind of a bitch. He can't handle spicy food.
Haha, sick burn.
um, she acknowledges inside herself that she needs to become the kind of investigator that can stand on her own, and that she'll grow to become the kind of investigator that can save her father instead of the other way around. Of course, we know that Mado will never get the chance to see her grow. We flash forward to Akira getting ready to meet her new partner, the man that her father respected so much and respected him right back, Kotaro Amon. Which, to end the story like this and to think about like the first time that she and Amon meet is kind of like, if I am remembering correctly, I think she kind of gives him a little bit of a hard time, like right from the get-go.
Yeah, like she was teasing him a lot.
Yeah.
But I saw it as like she kind of liked him. Like, you don't tease someone unless you like them.
It's true. She was so straight faced about it though that they
Mm-hmm.
kind of came across as genuine insults.
Yeah. But think about it though, you're not gonna go out of your way to insult somebody you don't like. It's kind of like just not even worth the effort.
Yeah, it's true. Although Akira is kind of, young. She's like 22-ish.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But yeah, it turns out that she did in fact like him. But has Akira changed much from her academy days? Looking at her now versus in the story. It's like I definitely
Kind of, but also not really, because she's still kind of hard-headed and likes to do things her own way.
yeah, like
So,
I definitely think that she's more wise with definitely with who she pisses off.
yeah.
Like it's mostly just Takizawa, and like even then Takizawa has such an inferiority complex that he kind of brings it upon himself. But she does seem to have maintained she seems to have maintained a bit of her swelled head that got her in trouble here. But I think like at least like toward the beginning of her and Almond's partnership, but I think it got better like as time went on. Overall, what did we think of this story? Like compared to the other ones? Definitely better than the Rize one.
Definitely better than the
Yeah.
Rize one.
Definitely better.
I don't think it's better than the Kaneki one though.
No.
It's
Nar.
I don't think it is either.
but I do like it more than the Toka one as well.
It's because this one was at least not negative and it had some cute moments, but I don't think it was as interesting as the Kaneki one.
I think, yeah, this one has some more developments. We learn more about her and her father.
Yeah. But no, Nick, if you want negativity,
Yeah.
get ready. Hold
For the
on.
next one?
Hold on to your butt for the next one.
All right, let's go.
This one, this one we are sad maxing in this one.
Perfect. Let's get it.
So this one's called Chapter 5, Matching. This one is the story about how Kimmy met Nishiki, but like from her perspective. And I went back into the manga and checked like the information we're given in the flashback that Nishiki tells, and it totally lines up. Kami University medical student Kimi Nishino gets a call from her mother asking if she'd like to accompany her parents and brother on a family trip for the upcoming 3-day weekend. She unfortunately has to decline because she has a paper to write, but hopes that her family has fun.
Oh no.
Yeah. The next day, she spends time with her friends, Shiraishi and Itose, before their morning classes. They also talk about doing something for the 3-day weekend and poke fun at Kimmy by saying that the only thing she doesn't have going for her right now is the fact that she doesn't have a boyfriend. I think a Kimmy origin story is really nice to see. Like, I feel like she's the closest tertiary character that we know the least about. And, like, I kind of like her as a character because we know how good of a person she is already because she still loves Nishiki even though she knows that he's a ghoul. Day 1 of the 3-day weekend, Kimmy texts her brother while they're driving to the vacation destination. He sends a picture of beautiful scenery and she tells him to tell their dad to drive carefully. While doing schoolwork, she puts the news on, which tells of an elementary school boy who saved a woman from being attacked by a ghoul that was later apprehended. The boy claims that he wants to work for the CCG when he grows up, and Kimmy internally expresses disdain and horror for ghouls and how carefully she has to be at night because of them. Gee, I wonder who that little boy on the news was. It's our boy Shota. In the midst of her studies, she receives a call from a relative that lives in the same neighborhood as her family, who panically tells her that her father, in fact, did not drive carefully and that they had a head-on collision with another car while they were on a narrow road. They were transported to a hospital, which Kimmy immediately rushes to. The doctor there tells her that her parents died instantly and her brother died on the way to the hospital. She also sees them in the morgue and confirms that it was her family. A week after the funeral, she tries to encourage herself to go to class, but can't seem to find the energy. She looks back at the final communication she had with her brother. All she feels is loneliness and emptiness. It kind of doesn't come across in the way I write the summary, but the internal dialogue of just how devastated Kimmy is from the moment she hears the news to weeks after the funeral, and the disbelief is it's very powerful. Like, it gets to you. Like, reading it for yourself will make you want to... Okay, maybe not Nick and David because they live so close to you guys live so close to your parents, but like it kind of makes you want to just like call up your parents and be like, hey.
Still do that even if you're close, bro, because they're not gonna stick around forever. So
it's true. It's very heavy. Very slowly, Kimmy begins attempting to live life again, going to classes, interacting with her friends, but she seems to have forgotten how. She wishes that she had gone with them and feels like everything seems pointless now. One day, she gets a juice from a campus vending machine, and another student catches up to her, bringing her the change that she forgot to get from the machine. The student introduces himself as Nishiki Nishio. After a tiny bit of banter and her attempting to keep herself from looking upset, they exchange phone numbers and he says that they should go out sometime. Kimmy is initially impressed with herself that she was able to actually have a real conversation with another person again, but it wasn't long before she fell back into her depression. However, she was pulled out of it again later that night when Nishiki texts her. She tells him that she's a med student, and he says that he's a pharma student, so he suggests that they study together the next day, assuming that they probably have some classes in common. She gets a little giddy about seeing him and drifts off to sleep peacefully for the first time in quite a while. Take notes, Nick. This is exactly how you're supposed to approach women. Write that down.
Cold approach.
I'm writing everything down.
Cold approach.
No, there may be two small things that Nishiki does that you kind of aren't supposed to do, but overall, he gets the process right. He gets it.
What, asking for a number?
No, so I think the two things he does wrong is that he says he's word for word says we should go out sometime. You
Oh.
you don't do that. You say like a specific thing that you want to do, uh, and then like establish specifically a time and place. It's like
Just say like, hey, I want to hang out in a secluded area. Something like that. Or is
no,
that
Red
Oh, my bad.
flag.
not
My
like
bad. My
that.
bad. My bad. My bad.
Not like that. Don't write that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
Viciously erasing.
But but no, it's like it's the confidence thing, and then you don't really need to say that because it's like if you ask them for their number, they kind of already they know what your intentions are. It's just kind of redundant. What was the second one? Oh, the study date. I mean, study date is kind of like, you're mostly focused on your schoolwork. You're not really talking much. You really want to do an event that's like fun and can like you guys can continuously talk to each other, get to know each other, and like banter a lot. So that's the other tip I have. But like I get it, they're like busy university students, so and they do still talk to one another quite a bit during the study date itself. But for those of us who aren't in school anymore, maybe something a little more fun.
Definitely.
Izzy, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I got nothing.
Okay.
You kind of forget how to date people when you've been with the same person for almost 10 years.
Fair enough. The next day, Kimmy meets Nishiki at their agreed destination on campus. They study until sunset and make plans to do it again. The more time Kimmy spends with Nishiki, the more at ease and comfortable with him she becomes. It isn't long before rumors about them start to spread, and she overhears Shiraishi and Itose talking badly about her, quite literally behind her back, because she hid behind a tree while they were passing. She begins feeling slightly guilty that the more time she spends with Nishiki, the less she thinks about her family. She also occasionally questions why he likes her so much, and in the end, she's grateful to him because he saved her and reminded her how to live life again. The story ends on the hopeful scene of her letting him take a bite out of her so that he could survive, way back toward the beginning of the manga. So do we learn anything new about Kimi and Nishiki's relationship from this story? Like maybe we learn the full magnitude of what Nishiki means to her. Because from the manga, we got that from Nishiki's perspective, what she means to him, but now we see the flip side of that. And I think it really strengthens to the reader how good they are for each other.
I do like this one because I guess we get more of the backstory between Kimi and Nishiki.
I really like this one too. This might be.
I think it's better than the Toko one. I don't think it's better than Kaneki and Hide's one.
Definitely
better than
second.
Rise one.
I want to put this in number 2, but the next chapter that we're about to look at is really funny. Shinto Ueda always coming in hard with the comedy as the last story.
You make me realize I have like the memory of a goldfish.
That's okay. That's what I write these for. All right, so the last story of this light novel, chapter 6. It's called Devil Ape. Enji Koma's story begins while he's the Devil Ape, the leader of a ghoul squad known as the Apes, that's based out of the 20th Ward. We all remember who Koma is, right? From the manga?
Of course. Nar.
Like he's the bartender at Onteku with like the big nose.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that guy.
Bartender. I think it was the Aogiri Tree operation. Mr. Yoshimura is like recruiting people, and he's like, "And you, Koma," and Koma's like, "Is it time? Do you need the Devil Ape's strength to help out in your mission?" He's like, "No, you stay behind and guard the cafe." It's like you got it, boss. One night, he encountered Mr. Yoshimura, and their interaction was literally just, "Hey, I want to live in human society without unnecessary killing. And Koma was like, I bet. Okay, he mostly did it out of the curiosity of what Mr. Yoshimura was driving at, but still, the conversation was literally that simple. At the start of Koma's first shift, he was hyped to make delicious cups of coffee for humans, but Mr. Yoshimura had him mop the cafe instead. He encounters a pretty uptight lady called, I think it was like Tsunade or something, but yeah,
Naruto.
yeah, Granny Tsunade. Oh no, it was Tsubasa. Tsubasa. Oh, and his first instinct to her being uptight is to kill her and eat her, but he admits that it's his fault because he was basically sloshing so much water everywhere. Why do you think Mr. Yoshimura recruited Koma and later on Irami to Onteku? Because like the specific reasons are never given to us.
Or maybe he wants them to find a different path. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be an option. I think it's like, because Koma and Irami are the leaders of their own respective ghoul gangs, which means that them becoming peaceful would basically mean the members of their groups would also become peaceful and would divert attention away from the CCG even more, and it would make the 20th ward safer in general. And it's like a snowball effect. And number two, if something was to happen that would involve like a large scale war against the CCG, like what ended up happening exactly, he would have two very strong ghoul armies to defend the cafe.
That's true. Yeah, it's kind of like he wants their. It's kind of like a give and take.
Yeah.
Like he's getting like Mr. Yoshimura's getting a benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly. Later, Koma meets with his fellow apes. They're immediately outraged and in belief that Mr. Yoshimura has the great devil ape mopping floors and cleaning windows. But then, Koma tells them about this miracle powder called baking soda. Some kind of magic substance that can somehow fight even the toughest of grease stains, neutralize the smelliest odors, and is even often used in cooking for human food. And no brand of baking soda accomplishes these tasks better than Arm & Hammer Pure Baking Soda, America's #1 trusted baking soda brand.
Rolled into an ad, bro.
I use Arm & Hammer all throughout my house, whether it's in the kitchen, in the bathroom, or anywhere in between. So remember, when you're fighting the battle for cleanliness, you'll want the standard of purity.
This motherfucker, bro.
They have to pay us money now. That's how that works.
Sponsor us, Arm & Hammer.
Chemist.
Yeah. No, but the apes are genuinely moved by Koma's desire to keep fighting the good fight just against grease stains now. Like, they were literally crying when he was describing this. They were like, does baking soda do anything for ape tears? But no, it's stories like this that really show that Toeda understands these characters and like all the running jokes that go along with them. Like what I said before, where it's like Koma wants to keep doing all these things, and Mr. Yoshimura's like, nah, do this other thing that's way less significant instead. Over the course of the next few months, Koma continues cleaning on Teku and gets more and more used to interacting with humans to the point where he's joking around with them, all friendly and shit. It's not much longer before Mr. Yoshimura sits Koma down and teaches him how to make coffee. Koma is excited to finally serve customers coffee and is delighted to hear that they actually like it. This causes him to look inward at himself, remembering all the times when humans have begged him not to kill them or sacrificed themselves to him so that their friends could escape, and he feels ashamed about it, but looks to the future, happy that he's involved himself with humans like he has. The rest of the apes have been following in his footsteps too, for they've also gotten jobs and enjoy the work culture as well. Koma's time behind the counter did not last long, however. Not long after, Mr. Yoshimura hires someone new, Kaya Irimi, the leader of the Black Dobers. They're initially cold to each other because they're kind of rival gangs, and Koma's delighted to have her do the cleaning, just as he had to. Which is why he's surprised, shocked, bamboozled, and even flabbergasted when Mr. Yoshimura immediately teaches Irumi how to make coffee, and even more so to hear that the customers like her coffee even more than his. Tsubasa jokes around with Irumi too, saying that if she and her boyfriend ever have a baby boy, she'll name him Shota. Connection.
The circle.
The circle. I don't know, I don't know if Shota's supposed to be like a coffee pun or whatever. That's kind of the impression that I get from that line, but I don't know Japanese like that, so I'm not certain. That's just kind of how the line delivery in the scene plays out, but it seemed like they were trying to connect to something that I just didn't understand. But with that, cleaning fell back onto Koma. Why do you think Mr. Yoshimura didn't make Irumi clean like he had Koma do? It's I kind of figured that maybe Irumi was more hesitant about integrating herself into human society than Koma was, so he taught Irumi a part of the cafe that might have been a little more appealing than just cleaning everything. That's my thought, at least. Because the Ghoul rumor mill is such a well-oiled machine, it's not long before word of Irumi's presence makes it back to the apes, who are outraged that she gets to make coffee immediately. Koma speculates that Mr. Yoshimura sees Irumi as less mature than Koma, and therefore puts her behind the counter to encourage her to really step up to the plate. The apes praise Koma for how wise he is to rationalize this. The story ends with Irumi acknowledging that Koma is gaining the trust of humans and is determined to not be beaten in that regard.
Your copium.
Yeah, the copium. They both have so much copium. But yeah, that's the end of that story and the end of the Tokyo Ghoul light novels. What do we think about that one, Devil Ape?
It was aight.
It was aight. Yeah.
It was aight.
It was
Yeah.
It was funny. I thought it was funny, just like the way that the running joke continued on past from the manga and into the book. It's definitely a lot more bare bones than, all the other ones, because whereas the conflict with every in all the other chapters hits to the core of every character.
It was very mundane.
Koma's more of a less serious character in general, and therefore it's more fitting to keep it joking and not look too deep into his character like that.
There's definitely a reason why I did not remember this one.
Oh, okay.
It's just, it wasn't boring, but it was just not as impactful to me. Like the Kaneki one,
yeah,
I felt that very personally, and I really liked that story.
You feel so much rage in that story.
Yes.
And then Kimmy's story, you feel so much heartbreak for her.
Yeah.
Overall, in my opinion, this is definitely the best of the light novels. Izzy, you agree in that regard. What about Nick and David? What do you guys think?
I think it gave probably the best platter of backstories on characters that are pretty pivotal.
Yeah.
That we didn't get as much info about, so I appreciate it for that.
Exactly. Is this one, would this one be your favorite, or did you like Void more?
I'll say this one's my favorite.
Okay. What about you, David?
I think this one has better stories. It develops more on the characters' background. I like that more.
Yeah.
I like not going over the cannibal.
Yeah. Thankfully no cannibals in this one. Which is always a win. But with that, we have one more character backstory to address with the digital manga Tokyo Ghoul Jack, which is not what I was expecting it to be, but we shall discuss it. We're gonna talk about.
I thought it was gonna be about a main character named Jack.
Yeah.
But nope.
Jacked. I I agree. Like, so, how much of this story did you end up being able to read, Nick?
So I was able to read the manga through like chapter almost 4, and then I just read synopses of the other ones, so I
Okay.
could, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you basically get the gist of the story.
Hmm.
I'll circle back to this when the time comes. So, second year high school student Taishi Fura arrives at school late. His teacher scolds him and asks him if his friend Aki Sasada is absent once again, which she is. During math class, Fura asks classmate Kisho Arima, name drop, if he could take a glance at his textbook, but Arima gives him the entire textbook, saying that he doesn't need it, and implies that Fura very much does need it, since he never comes to school. This riles Fura up, and he gets kicked out of class. While walking home, Fura spots his friends Rio, Aki, and 2 others riding motorcycles to their usual hangout spot. 2 of them leave to get drinks at a nearby vending machine and end up getting killed by the Lantern Ghoul, a ghoul that wears a pumpkin on his head, much like Dwight in that one episode of The Office, who is responsible for a mass series of killings that have been happening around the 13th Ward. Fura shows up right when Rio and Aki are running away from the ghoul. Though Fura tries to fight him off, the Lantern Ghoul kills Rio and damages Aki's eye. He would have killed Fura too, but Arima comes in for the save. The Lantern Ghoul runs off, and investigator Maruda asks Fura for information. So I was really not expecting this to be a young Kisho Arima story. Like, I was very much hoping for it to be like what you predicted, Nick, that it's like a story set in America about a character named Jack. And like I wanted to see what the culture between ghouls and humans is like outside of Tokyo,
That would
because
be cool.
as far as the entire story goes, sequel series included, I'm we literally never leave Tokyo. Like it always everything always has to do within one one of Tokyo's wards, and like which it makes sense because this series is called Tokyo Ghoul, but I really think it would have been way more interesting than this, and especially what the story ended up being. Like, if you're going to make a Kisho Arima story, make it a full-on origin story. Like, in my opinion, I don't want us just dropped in at a point when Arima was already overpowered because we just know that he's already going to win, especially against such a lame ass school like the Lantern Ghoul.
Yeah.
There's some holes that I like to poke in the story. One of them being, if the Lantern Ghoul was so well known around the 13 Ward at this point in time, why on God's green earth would Fura, Rio, and Aki hang around back alleys at night? Like, that's just asking to be killed. Like, granted, maybe they didn't know that the Lantern Ghoul was at large, but that would also mean that they don't watch the news, don't listen to the news, and aren't like around the news in any shape or form, because like the news is always talking about ghouls in some form, it seems like.
They're also just high schoolers, right? They're just stupid.
That's also true. Yeah, that's fair.
Especially when the news is always talking about ghouls, you're probably just not taking it seriously because it's like, oh, it happened to someone else. It won't happen to me.
Yeah, it's true. When you guys were younger, did you tend to think that when you grew up, you would be like your parents, where it's like you get home at night and you just watch the news the rest of the night?
Dude.
Because like my parents did that all the time, and I was like, oh, that's adulthood, huh? And
Still,
I
my parents still do that.
yeah.
Especially my dad. I mean, he's doing it right now.
But yeah, no, I was always like, I was like, oh, so that's what adulthood's like. This is like,
Yeah, you watch your world news, you watch your Jeopardy, you watch your Wheel of Fortune,
that's
then you
right.
go to bed.
Yeah, okay, but my mom actually did watch Wheel of Fortune back in the day a lot, though.
That's
Wheel
why
of
I more so
Fortune.
get it like on the phone now, not really watching it on TV like news stuff.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this, but the more scratchy art style Who is it that didn't like it as much?
Oh, I just didn't like the art style. I like the story.
Yeah, the art style specifically, yeah.
Oh, and then like I did like the ghoul design with like the pumpkin mask. I
Yeah.
I love pumpkins.
You like pumpkins? Oh
I
yeah.
love jack-o'-lanterns. It's great. Halloween's awesome.
But no, the art style I also or like I like it. The less refinedness of it gives a certain vibe, and it's like one that kind of reflects the instability of the world that they live in. And this also kind of it connects to certain parts of Tokyo, like the main Tokyo Ghoul story as well, artwork wise. Not of the characters itself, but specifically whenever Kaneki is like in the middle of a mental breakdown, Ishida uses a lot of like jagged, scratchy, and frankly chaotic lines around him, and that's kind of sort of what this reminds me of, even though like it's genuinely just like less refined art style.
Yeah. Like it makes sense and it does look like a flashback.
Yeah.
Is it like blue tinted too? I don't remember.
I
But
think some parts are like some scenes of the sky are. I think.
okay.
Um,
Like
I
I
th-
know like a lot of TV shows do that where they have like a blue tint to show a
yeah,
flashback, but like I like it makes sense that device works for me.
yeah,
I just think personally I just it's like eh.
yeah. I get it, especially after seeing the artwork of the main story because
Yeah.
has really good artwork. So Arima tells Fura about ghouls because despite living in this world well into his second year of high school and it being talked about on the news all the time, Fura somehow doesn't know what a ghoul is. Fura wants to help Arima, to which he declines, but Fura insists as revenge for Rio. Arima suspects that the Lantern Ghoul is someone within the school, so they stay there well into the night to stake out, and end up getting caught by their math teacher, who proceeds to get killed by the janitor, who just so happens to be a ghoul. Not the Lantern Ghoul, though. Arima kills him easily, but must unleash his Quinque to do it, which is a sword, and he reveals himself as a ghoul investigator. He carries his Quinque around in like an acoustic guitar case, which I think is pretty cool. Very high school. Afterward, he gets a scolding from Maruda for taking independent action. He tells Fura that he has to leave school now that Fura knows he's a ghoul investigator, but decides to stay after Fura promises to keep his secret. The Lantern Ghoul warns his team of the density of investigators coming into the 13th Ward looking for him. His team comprises a very young Yamari and Simuharu Kato, a barber that likes to eat the hair that he cuts off of his customers. He takes particular interest in one high school age customer called Uruka Minami. After her appointment, Kato dons his mask that makes him look like he has a massive nose and attempts to devour her in the Tokyo alleys, but is interrupted by an immediate attack by Arima and Fura. I can't help but wonder how Arima and Fura knew to be there in the alleys. Like, maybe they were watching uh, Kato for a while.
They're always in the alleys.
Yeah, because like they just show up right when Kato attempts to eat Minami. So like maybe they were watching him and only sprung into action when another's life was in danger. But then it beckons the question: how did they know to follow specifically him? So it's just one of those things that just seemed like on its face, it seems very convenient that Fura and Arima just happened to show up right before Minami was about to bite the dust. That's just my perspective anyway. Arima and Fura pretty easily defeat Katao, and Minami asks if she can help them. Later on, she gathers information regarding rumors within their school relating to ghouls. She's the class rep, so she can get information that others might not be able to. She claims that The one with the most authenticity was where suspicious people were spotted at a prefabricated house within a construction site. Arima and Fura check it out later that night, but insist that Minami stays back due to the risk of danger. They find a ghoul there, but it's not the one they're looking for. Fura grows increasingly anxious that they haven't found the lantern ghoul yet. While shopping at the mall one day, Fura and Minami spot Yamadi, and Fura recognizes him as resembling someone suspicious from their list of ghouls. Once Arima arrives, Fura splits off from them, giving Minami the chance to swing a Kagune at Arima, revealing that she too is a ghoul. Except Arima apparently already knew that she was not just a ghoul, but the lantern ghoul that they had been looking for, because he somehow had a pair of her shoes. Did he find those at the construction site? I don't really know where he found Minami's shoes, but he found Minami's shoes and saw that they were 22 centimeters, like that she has a foot size of 22 centimeters long, and he claims that she's the only one with a 22 centimeter shoe size in their whole school.
I question what he's done in the name of practice.
I have 3 things to say about this.
Oh knows.
First of all, that's a really weird thing for Arima to just know and just drop as casually as he did. That's number 1. Number 2, I don't know if he found them at the construction site, but if he did find them at the construction site, because we apparently never see where he finds it. If he found them at the construction site, that's a public construction site away from the school in which anyone can access if they really wanted to. And like a single ward in Tokyo usually has a shit ton of high schools in it. And like the female shoes between each high school might differ slightly, but really aren't all that different. And the shoes at their high school look pretty standard to all like Japanese uniform shoes I've ever seen. And number 3, Arima's apparent foot fetish aside, I did a tiny bit of research on this. Research I'm not proud of, probably put me on a foot list somewhere, but damn it, this is important. From my research, I've concluded that among Japanese high school girls, a 22 centimeter shoe size should not be that uncommon. Like, yes, it is a little unusual, but I've determined that the very low end of what is considered normal is about 22.3 to 25 or 22.5 centimeters, which means that there should be at least a few outliers that have a 22 centimeter shoe size. So I'm sorry, but I think Arima might be full of shit here.
Dude, it's like a size
Could be a thing
6
like
in women's.
A size 6, is that... Can you confirm or deny how common of a shoe size that is?
It's literally my shoe size.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, even when I was in high school, I was like a 5.5. So, like...
I don't know. Anywho, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Congrats on having a foot fetish.
Yeah, we learn a lot about Arima in this story. Minami says that Katao probably thought she was human because she's apparently always stained with the blood of her victims. Which I have something to say about this as well. If anything in this story indicated to me that all 7 of these chapters were like all planned out from the very beginning, it's kind of that line. Like just saying, oh, we misunderstood because I'm always stained with the blood of humans. It feels like such a cop-out to me. Like, you're telling me that Katao wouldn't be able to feel dry blood in your hair, that he wouldn't be able to smell the stench of ghoul underneath, and that Arima and Fura wouldn't be able to smell it on her? Like, that shit would reek of metal, probably. I mean, I've never been absolutely covered in blood, but I can assume, I kind of feel like that's a bit of a cop-out.
I forgot about this part. This part was so unsettling.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So Minami also reveals that this was all a setup and that she had Yamadi come to the mall for Fura to notice him. Meanwhile, Fura indeed does encounter Yamari, coincidentally on the level directly below Minami, or where Minami and Arima are. That becomes important later. Arima throws his Quinque sword to debilitate Minami's Kagune that busts out a pair of dual Kagune swords, and defeats her with them effortlessly, then stabs through the floor, and his swords are apparently really freaking long, like long enough to also stab straight through Yamari on the floor below. I was like about to have an issue with that too, but then I was like, wait a minute, why am I looking so far into this? It's anime. We have it's like it's manga. We have big weapons all the time. Even in Tokyo Ghoul, we have big weapons. I let that part slide. For Arima to know exactly where Yamari was on the floor directly below, like that's some omnipotent shit right there. I'm not like trying to say that as like a oh it's unrealistic. I kind of like it's more so like exemplifies even further how powerful Arima is, because if he's this powerful already, there's like by the time we get to the end of the first part of Tokyo Ghoul, like there's no wonder why the fight between Kaneki and Arima lasted as short as it did. But that panel that of Arima stabbing through the floor and into Yamari, that made for a really awesome visual. Too injured to finish Fura off, Yamari runs away. Arima shows Minami to Fura. Minami monologues, saying that she killed Fura's friends because they were delinquent and noisy and contributed nothing to society. Fura concedes that she's right in some regard, but to him, they were the most important people in his life. Minami lashes out at Fura, who stabs her with Arima's sword Quinque. Outside, Arima confirms that the ghoul that Fura encountered was able to get away. Fura expresses that he wants to protect the things that he loves, and the scene ends, but you just know that he expressed to Arima that he wanted to become a ghoul investigator too. We flash forward several years. Fura is now a first-class investigator with the CCG in charge of the 7th Ward. He married Aki, and he and Arima still see each other from time to time. So what do we think about this whole story in general? It's a fun little story, I think.
I think it's cool to see like how you said his past, but I'm kind of on the same page. I think he's such a cool character. It'd be cool to see even for earlier, like how unprecedented is his affinity for hunting ghouls.
That's right. Like if they made it a full-on origin story. What about you, Izzy? You said that you liked the story quite a bit.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting background.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like the end of Tokyo Ghoul, like the original manga, was very rushed and confusing, so I think this helps draw out that character.
Yeah, it's like we get to learn even more about Arima.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun. Like it's better if you don't look as far into it as I did, but it definitely, and I still do think that a story set elsewhere, literally anywhere outside of Tokyo, would be very interesting to look at. Just like how the culture with ghouls differs, because apparently the CCG is worldwide, I think, but we don't get to see anywhere outside of Tokyo. But yeah, that is Tokyo Ghoul Past and Tokyo Ghoul Jack. Glad we were able to fit all of this into it.
Woohoo!
Does anyone have any final thoughts on Tokyo Ghoul Past, Tokyo Ghoul Jack, or the light novels as a whole?
One more Arima.
More Arima? Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we'll get quite a bit more of him later on. Did these light novels serve to expand the world as much as we were hoping they would, and help us learn more about all the characters?
Definitely helps.
Yeah. I think because the manga focuses so much on Kaneki that it can be a bit easier to overlook some of these other characters, but which is why Past specifically, I think, really helps shed light on them. Well, if no one has anything else, thanks for coming, y'all. It was fun.
Dude, thank you, sir.
And we will be back with the manga next month.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Have a good night.
Peace, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Peace.